there's a very interesting story out of Massachusetts where the under God part of the Pledge of Allegiance is now going to be reviewed by the Supreme Judicial Court. CNN is reporting about this, and we know about the Pledge of Allegiance. We used to do the Pledge of Allegiance in elementary school, Lewis. I don't remember it happening in middle school. I definitely don't think it happened in high school. But in any case, there was a certain time in our lives where we were expected to stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance. And there have been a number of attempts to get rid of the under God part of the Pledge of Allegiance. And they've all been basically federal charges, federal cases where the argument being made is that it is in some way discriminatory, it's not equal protection, so on and so forth. And those cases have not actually gone well. It's never succeeded. Now, this is the first time that this is being explored in this particular way. The case was brought by an unidentified family of a student at a school in suburban Boston, and it's going to be argued that it actually violates the Equal Rights Amendment, specifically of the Massachusetts Constitution. This is the first time that a case about the Pledge of Allegiance's under God phrase will be argued along these lines. It's always been a separation of church and state argument at the federal level. Now, Eric Rosbach of the Beckett Fund for Religious Liberty is saying they're grasping at straws. They know they would lose again if they tried it under the First Amendment, so now they're trying a new tack. Rosbach also dismissed the discrimination claim, saying, hey, everybody can opt out of the Pledge of Allegiance. You're not being forced to say it. The critics of that argument say, hold on a second. Yes, you can opt out, and you really stand out. You open yourself up to significant criticism as the one kid who's just sitting there while everybody else is standing, and you're basically lining yourself up to be ostracized, and that's not really opting out without prejudice, so to speak. What do you think about this, Lewis?
I think it's the right move. I think you're right. You don't want to be that solo kid standing there, or sitting down, maybe I should say. There would be ridicule. We know that. And just, I mean, from a political point of view, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, it doesn't fit with what we're supposed to be doing.
A lot of people don't realize that under God has not been part of the Pledge of Allegiance since the Pledge of Allegiance was created. It was actually added later. In 1954, it was incorporated into the Pledge of Allegiance by a joint resolution of Congress amending the flag code. It was added during the McCarthy era. Some think that what the impetus was that no communist would say those words, so that it was a way to kind of trick communists into outing themselves. So for those saying this has always been a part of the Pledge of Allegiance and that is it, the Pledge of Allegiance has been amended a couple of times, and under God only started in 1954. I personally never liked saying the Pledge of Allegiance, not because of the under God part, that wasn't really on my radar back in 3rd grade, but because I got really uncomfortable in those things where everyone is kind of speaking the same thing at the same time, and I would just kind of lip sync it. I never actually would say it, you know?
Right. And I think, you know, it's not only important to realize that there should be a separation of church and state, but on a social level, I think it's important to realize that patriotism and religiousness do not have to be one and the same.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Lewis. On today's bonus show, Lewis is on fire today. So Lewis hosts and produces the bonus show. So you're definitely going to want to tune in, because we can tell Lewis is he's doing really well today. That's for sure. Japan and China's Maglev trains we will be discussing, as well as quantum cryptology and a drunk girl whose blood alcohol level is recorded at a 0.341. Was it an error? Was she being served by Lewis? What exactly was going on? davidpakman.com/membership. Don't miss the bonus show. It's very cool, and you support our program, which is mostly funded by you. Back after this.